Wait a minute, run that back, say that again. Hello and welcome back to my channel. How are we doing today mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally? My name is Chriselle and I am so excited to talk about today's video. I will be sharing my 15 books that define my taste. By no means are these books in any particular order, and these books aren't the books that I think are the greatest of all time. Some of these books I did rate a 4 or a 4.5. Majority of them are 5s. I'm not going to give a synopsis or a summary of the book just to prevent this video from getting any longer than it has to be. If you do decide to give the books a try, please make sure to read the trigger warnings. First book on my list is an absolute must. It is definite. It is stapled, etched into my forever list. This book launched me into my dark romance journey, and that is Hunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. Note that I did say the second book. While I did like the first book, the second book really sold the duet for me. If there's one thing that I like when books break me. I like when after I read something so intense, I stare at the walls for a long ass minute, and this was one of those books. Adeline goes through something so terrible and it was just so heartbreaking to me. It is my worst fear. First part of that book really broke me into pieces, while the second portion really pieced those pieces back together for me. Adeline felt disgusted. She felt a shell of herself. Zaid really helped her to replace those thoughts with only thoughts of him. He really helped her through a very tough time. My favorite in books is the recovery journey. So this book had that. It is a staple in the books that define my tastes. The next book in my list is That Sick Love by Jescie Hall. This was another one of those books that really launched me into dark romance. I love me some Jescie Hall, okay? The way she writes her MMCs is just so captivating to me. So a common theme that you guys are going to see is when the MMCs help build up the FMC, and that takes place in this book as well. The way that Arrow helped build up Brynne to take down this organization that was against her. He taught her how to defend herself, and this book has some of my favorite quotes ever. Just the things that Arrow says, I was swooning hard. When the characters say some really poetic things that you're just like, wait a minute, run that back, say that again. I also like books that have religious themes. I like how Arrow would rip out pages from the Bible and it would relate to lessons that he was trying to teach Brynne. And That Sick Love is my favorite Jescie Hall book. The next book is Her Soul for Revenge by Harleigh laroux. Juniper, who is the FMC, is hands down one of my favorite FMCs of all time. After going through something so traumatic, she taught herself how to survive by herself. Zane, the MMC, was there to help her out, but he let her lead the whole time. And that's just one thing that's always going to call to me are resilient FMCs. Every single time. Okay, and the next book, Kill Switch by Penelope Douglas. I truly believe that this is the best redemption arc ever, and it caught me by surprise because everyone has their own opinions on the MMC during the first 2 books, but in the third book, I don't want to hear it. All of a sudden, you're questioning yourself. Damon is a tortured, and I'm going to say he's an anti-hero, right? Because he's not a hero. He has a tragic past. This is one of those things where dark romance really pulls you in and gives you really tough themes. Throughout it all, the way he cared for Winter, the love story in this book, in my opinion, right, is the best. While I liked the other books in the Devil's Night series, I just feel like their story was perfection and it really pulls on your heartstrings. And next book on my list is Touched by Sin by Harleigh Beck. I truly like the unique storyline in this series. We have paranormal, there is fallen angels, there is demons, there is a lot of biblical references. You have the Garden of Eden. I loved Constantine the movie while growing up, and maybe that has something to do with my book taste now, but it's just that good versus evil. So this book is reverse harem, and it is one of the spiciest things that I have read. A book doesn't have to have spice for me to appreciate it. I do like books that have minimal spice, but I very much do enjoy books that have the spiciest spice, and this book was super spicy, super spicy. And if there's one thing Harleigh Beck knows how to do, that is a plot twist, baby. After each book, there is a plot twist. And best believe, after every book, I was gasping hard because I was just like, oh, hell no. I have to read the next book because I have to know. I have to know what's going to happen. Okay, and the next book is Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. And let me just tell you, I was cackling. I was cackling hard. So hard in this book. It was my first dark romantic comedy and I ate it up. That was something that I didn't know I needed in my life. But I need more of whatever the heck they put in Butcher and Blackbird. There are just some scenes that I will always remember. I could just be doing the most randomest thing, and then I think about the ice cream scene and the mummification scene. I enjoy really good banter, and this book does it to perfection. So well done. And what makes it even better is that it's a slow burn. When a book really creates that tension and angst, and the whole time you're just like, like, what is gonna happen? What is gonna happen? Enemies to Lovers will always be a tried and true favorite of mine. However, this book particular had friends to lovers, and that was something that I didn't know that I would like, but I ate it up. Okay, and for my next book, right now, this book, I find it so cool when I find other book besties who say that this is their favorite book in the series, because there's not much of us. The Sinner by Shantel Tessier. Now, all right, let me explain, okay? Earlier when I said that I appreciate really good spice, that's this book. The Lord series is completely spicy, but this one in particular, it is the type of spice where there's a lot of people who won't like it, but I am not one of those people because I enjoyed it, and it definitely unlocked new kinks that I was just like, whoa. Common theme with me is just tragic backstories. The FMC in this book, Ellie, talk about tragic and terrible and any of those synonyms, and the way Sin cared for Ellie and all the things that he did for her when she literally had no one. There were so many twists and turns, and of course throughout the Lord's books there are many twists and turns. This book is no exception. I was like, oh, that's how that happened, huh? And my next book is Silencia by Vivien Rainn. The reason why this is on my list, right, is because representation. When I read about these FMCs, sometimes I'd like put myself in their shoes. It's just sometimes I can't help but imagine myself as these FMCs. When I was reading Silencia by Vivien Rainn, I didn't need to try hard to imagine myself in her shoes. The FMC is Filipina, and she goes through a lot of grief, and of course that was something that I can relate to. And I don't know, I don't know better than to say that I felt represented in that book, and that was something that I didn't know was something that I was looking for, so that when I did find it and I was experiencing it, it was a shock. And come on, it is a Filipina in a dark gothic romance. And again, you got paranormal aspects in here. The MMC, his name is Silas, and he is a demon. That is just my cup of tea, okay? And the writing was absolutely beautiful. I have not read a book equivalent to that sort of writing, similar but in its own lane, would be Gianna Darling's Serpentine Valentine. You have writing that is just so imagery driven and poetic. I felt like I was there, and I have never been to the Philippines, so just me picturing it in clear detail, that was a joy to experience. Also, the ending of Silencia, if there's one thing that I love good cliffhangers. Oh, Vivien, you did it. You did your thing with this. Okay, you did it, because now I need the third book. I need it in my life, and I am shaking for it, okay? And for my next book, no surprise, it is Skin of a Sinner by Avina St. Graves. Listen, okay, I know us book girlies, we just be falling in love with all these book boyfriends. But Roman Riviera? Come on. Are you like, come on? I am an asthma girly, so the fact that this man was carrying an extra inhaler for her because she kept forgetting it. If I were to forget my inhaler at home, I would freak the F out. So the fact that he just had it waiting for her as she was having asthma attacks, like, I'm sorry, that got me. It hooked me. It reeled me in. Okay. Like, and I really enjoyed the childhood best friends to lovers to strangers slash enemies back to lovers aspect of the story. I love books that just make me think WTF. The beginning of this book is a big WTF moment. Bella wakes up to Roman unaliving her foster family. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. Thank you for being considerate, right? But at the same time, what is going on? What is going on? It is so easy to swoon hard for him. And he's a biker, all right? So we're going to add some brownie points on top of that. I absolutely love when he is grumpy to everyone but her. I love me a grumpy a-hole, all right? And it's even better if he's grumpy to everyone. Grumpy, just a grumpy ass guy. But then with her, she's an exception. Possessive, obsessive. Yeah, love that. But I'm going to also need you to not like anyone else but her. And that sounds crazy. But listen, if I'm reading it, then give it to me. Give me more. Okay, and for my next book, it is Nightshade by Keri Lake. No, I will never stop bringing this book up because that's just how much I love this book. It is my favorite duology of all time. Such a unique world. Unique world building, unique imagery. The way that Keri Lake writes this world, ma'am. Okay, Nightshade is basically a purgatory in some sense. It is where souls go who don't believe in a heaven and a hell. Never did I think I would fall in love with reincarnated soulmates, but with this, Keri Lake gives you the past POVs and you get so attached to them that when you're flashbacking to the future and back, you become so intertwined with the story. Also, listen, Jericho Van Croy, 2 words, all right? Vibrating feathers, electricity. That is 3 words, but that's all I will leave you with. Just when I think that I've read everything, I haven't. And something always surprises me, and that was this book, okay? It was so mentally draining in the best ways. This couple has been through the ringer. They have been through so much in their lives that you would think that you would just give up. But they didn't, and you just become so invested to see them happy. I'll burn the world down for you. Dramatic. Yes, I like them dramatic. And in this one, literally burns the world down for her. And next book on my list is Lovely Bad Things by Trisha Wolfe. This book is not for everyone. It is heavy in philosophy and psychology. If the book makes me have an open mind on certain terms and ideas, I eat it up. I eat it up, okay? A good thing that I just cannot resist is a crazy plot twist. And this plot twist, wow. Wow, I did not see that coming from a mile away. I wouldn't have even guessed. Well done. Well done. In this book, we are trying to figure out who the killer is, and may it be Trisha Wolfe's writing, but I truly felt like I was there in the book with these characters trying to solve this and trying to figure it out. A profiler slash professor too, and I'm just here with them. Yeah, yeah, what other clues do we have? Callum Locke is swoon worthy. He is swoon worthy. This book did the banter so well between the characters. It is a slow burn, so if you have good slow burn and good banter, best believe I am in there. All right, next book on my list. If you have not read this book, you must read this book, okay? And that is the Mindfuck series by St. Abby, aka Stabby. Come on, come on, come on. Lana freaking Myers. Revenge plots are everything to me. You are so invested into Lana's revenge that you are rooting for her to take all the bad guys down, to seek justice in her own little vigilante criminal way, all right? Women's rights, yes. Women's wrongs, yes. Lana Myers, extremely yes. Undoubtedly, yes. If you throw in a good healing journey, that's just a top tier combo for me. While she was going through her revenge journey, she was also healing herself in certain ways, along with Logan, who is the MMC. Lana Myers, to me, will forever be the definition. You open up the dictionary, you see badass FMC, and there's Lana. Lana Myers, the blueprint to badass FMCs. It is her. It has to be her. And if you read the book, then you know. And the action, well done. I was not expecting that in the last book. I love a little moment when the characters go all in on some this is life or death. And I very much liked the quotes from Einstein and Confucius, Voltaire. I'm not sure if I said that right. I really enjoyed how the author included those in each chapter. And for my next book, all right, that is Exodus by Kate Stewart. This is from the Ravenhood series. Oh Lord, oh my goodness. I sobbed like no other. This is high up there in the sobbing category. This book truly broke me. It broke me, okay? I have not stared at walls for so long in an entire day than that day when I finished Exodus, or when I got to that one part in Exodus. And honestly, I'm never going to recover. I'm never going to recover from that book. The emotional damage, it is truly a book that stays with you. I will never see Rainy Days the same way again. Some random little thing will always remind me of that book. Kate Stewart's writing, you fall in love with the characters. I thought I was falling in love with one character, till I fell in love with another character, till I fell in love with another character. You gotta give it to authors who do that, because they get you really into the book. You become invested. And for my next book, it is A Perfect World by Julia E. mccolgan. If there's one thing I truly appreciate, that is a unique storyline. This book gave off X-Men and adult Stranger Things. Ollie is a very tortured hero, tortured heroes, tortured anti-heroes, tortured heroines. My favorite thing. He is a very sad boy, and I love me my sad boys. Ollie was very much who did this to you, but so was the FMC. Both characters gave the same energy, and I need to see that more in books. Lastly, with this book, I did feel like the characters were meant for each other. You ever read those kind of books where you truly believe that they're soulmates and that they complete each other? And that's a bold statement, but I will say it, that they complete each other. This is that story, and I really felt like they needed each other. It's a good book, guys. It's a good book. Last but not least, that is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartmann. Wow. The first part of this book was truly heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Oh, it is dark. You got two characters who have been taken, who have been kidnapped to do unspeakable things, terrible, disgusting man kidnaps them, forces them to do things. Ugh. Dean, right, who is the MMC, really showed up for Cora. She needed something. She needed somebody to help her get through that. And Dean really showed up for her as best as he can and as best as their situation allowed it. He was there. The second half of the book fully had my attention. Overcoming something horrendous and difficult and healing from it is my absolute favorite thing to read about. I love healing characters, an emotional healing journey. Sometimes the healing process is very ugly. I think that's what makes this book call out to me, is because sometimes you know when a book is fiction, right? But there are times where you really think about it and you're like, no, that can really happen in life. And that is some real life topics, and that is some real life emotions. And the love story unfolding in between those ugly healing stages is really beautiful to read about. If you are a lover of dark romance, you have to put this book on your list. Just letting you know that first portion is intense, but once you get past that, then it's healing. All right, guys, and those are the 15 books that define my taste in dark romance. I love being pulled out of my thoughts into these heart-wrenching stories, grief, healing, tortured, trauma, anything along those topics wrapped up in a pretty little dark romance bow, and that is me. And I truly appreciate you for taking the time out to watch little ol' me. If you want to see more videos in the future, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, because I truly appreciate every single one of you. And to all my femme fatales and morally gray villain readers out there, I hope you have a good day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!